Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawud Dah coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. A salutation and much love for your icon pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. I want to jump into this quick article real quick. In a slew of things that's going on, man. There's a lot of shit just being pushed and pushed right now. All right, and I know, I believe it was last week where it was a push of the famine of the word. So we're going to touch on this one more time. It says, diehard neocon think tanks think scrubbing the internet of fringe views. All right. It says a sweeping purge in which numerous alternative media pages were cleansed from Facebook and Twitter have actually been driven by figurehead of hardline neocon think tank investigative journalist Max Blumenthal told RT. Salakia. But nevertheless, let me just read this. It says, the crackdown on alternative voices spearheaded by Facebook and Twitter are obviously, like it's not obvious to everybody else, connected to national security hardliners funded by Western governments, he said. Salakia. But nevertheless, they trying to make it seem like this ain't nothing out of the normal. Oh, it's obvious that we would do something like this because it's for national security. But really what it's doing is silencing, how they would claim political dissenters or anything like that. But really just exposing Esau, Edom, the white man, the so-called white man on what his wickedness and the shit that he's doing. All right. But showing you that, you know what I mean? You know, they're disguising it as, political and national security, this and that. This ain't about, people reading the Bible. We're not talking about nothing extreme. It's that. We're not taking down cat videos. Nah, we just, the fact of the matter, it's like a trial run. If you don't stand up and say something about this, when they change the name of the group who they targeting, what's not, they be like, well, y'all accepted it before. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, this is basically building up to where we at. All right. This is, what you're seeing going on over and over and over with all these different stories saying the same thing. One week is some Islamic extremists, religious extremists. Another week is black identity extremists. Another week is Trump saying he's a nationalist or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's like a white nationalist. But then here you have what they call political dissenters, people that so-called are spreading fake news, so-called, but people that's really exposing them in their wickedness, and then who's not going to say that, or not to say who's not going to say, because really the scriptures say it's going to happen, but when they come after the men of the Lord for pushing this here truth, and that's what we know this is all aimed at, all right? So I'm going to just read this one more time, and we're going to just jump right into the scriptures. It says, diehard neocon think tank is scrubbing the internet of fringe views. It says, a sweeping purge in which numerous alternative media pages or what alternative views of the media that they pushing on you, all right, other than the propaganda that they want you to buy and believe, maybe aka the truth in certain scenarios, because they're not taking offline like so-called satire or people who don't know what the fuck they talking about, right? Like, let's say for instance they'd be like, you know what, now I don't know if this is true, let's just say this ain't true, right? Let's just say you got some guy on the internet talking about Donald Trump is a cross-dresser, or fuck that, Donald Trump is a damn reptile alien. You know what I'm saying? He half man, half triceratops, right? You know what I'm saying? Let's say you got somebody on the internet spreading some shit like that, and in 20 years, Donald Trump gonna come out the hole with his triceratops family and they gonna eat all human beings. They're not taking these motherfuckers off the internet. They gonna be like, well, look, we gonna push this motherfucker so a lot of people follow him and be just as confused and lost as what's going on. They don't see what's really happening. But the men that's pushing the truth and exposing them, these are the ones that's their targets. All right. These are the ones that's a threat to their system. All right. In their minds. You know what I'm saying? This is actually, the men of the Lord is actually like the scriptures say, he gonna be destroyed with basically, his mouth, where is that at? Let me read this. We'll get there real quick. It says, a sweeping purge in which numerous alternative media pages were cleansed from Facebook and Twitter and has actually been driven by a figurehead of hardline neocon think tanks. Neo means new, con conservative. think tanks, investigative journalist Max Blumenthal told RT. Jumping down, it says the crackdown on alternative voices spearheaded by Facebook and Twitter are obviously connected to national security hardliners funded by Western governments, he said. All right, so I wanted to grab, damn, I forgot what the precept was, but I know exactly where it is. Oh, yeah. We're going to go back there. This is, where was it, gotcha. Salakia. Right here, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. Then shall that wicked be be revealed, that Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. All right, so basically, you know what I'm saying? Right now, the minute the Lord out here exposing these so-called devils, and that's why the reason that he's trying to cut down these so-called political dissenters, or the people that's coming up against them, or fake news that they deem it, fake news and things like that. This is the reason why. All right, it says, "And the Lord shall, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." Speaking on those chariots, but wanted to focus in on consume them with the spirit of his mouth. And another precept that came to my mind. Hang on one second. Let me think about that again. Damn, it slipped my mind. Salakia, brother. Give me 1 second. I had a precept that came to mind. About him being revealed. Nevertheless, Lord will come back to me. But nevertheless, reading this again, it says 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. Then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. All right, so the minute the Lord going to be out here exposing Esau, Edom, according to Obadiah 1 and 8, there's another precept. Not going too far off topic, but or 1 and 6, Salakia. It says, how are the things of Esau sought out, and the hidden things how are the things of Esau searched out, and how are the hidden things sought up? All right, and we just read about that in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. All right, that he was going the man of sin was going to be revealed by the spirit of basically the Lord's mouth. All right, through the prophets. Damn, and that precept came back onto me again. Oh yeah, got you. So the reason that they trying to cut off these sites, or more or less get to the prophets, all right, is because of this. This is dealing with our people, all right, but more or less this is an overall and general statement, and this is the condemnation that light, all right, not, and for all cases, speaking of which, what the scripture is talking about, it's talking about the truth is coming into our own people, all right, but we're gonna just read this in a general sense, verbatim. You just read and understand the words that's written here for, and then I'll make the analogy. It says, "And this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil." Now, the real true breakdown to this is being spoken about the Israelites. All right, this is John 3:16, what they all like to reference, for God so loved the world. That's why I'm saying it's like we're gonna read this verbatim and read it on face value, because this is actually talking about the Israelites. But for all intensive purposes, we putting this, not to say putting this on the Edomites, but you can see this in generalization. All right. It says, and this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Reading this as a proverb, right? Men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. Just like cockroaches, you go into a roach infested area or something like that that's in the dark, and you turn the lights on, now the roaches scatter. Why do they like the darkness? Because they can roam around and start looking for food and everything like that. They can hide under the cover of darkness where nobody will see them and be a threat unto them. All right, that's why I was saying I was going to read that as a so-called parable. But nevertheless, to paint that picture, this is why so-called Esau Edom is trying to, or the so-called white man who is known as Esau Edom, is trying to silence people on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all these different. He's trying to take the prophets off the streets. You know, that's ultimately the Most High's plan. But we see Esau Edom pushing for this because why? We a threat to his enterprise. All right, his new world order. All right, and at the same time, he don't want everybody knowing about his evil damn deeds. He wants to stay in the darkness. He want that pedophilia and all that extra shit he got going on. His new world order plans of exterminating everybody and killing Jacob off. All right, you know what I'm saying? He don't want those, and the Edomites, you know, and the Amalekites. He don't want the world to know all those things. All right, so I'm gonna read this again. Like I said, reading this just verbatim, you know, as a proverb. Again, because this passage is written to the Israelites, not to the Edomites, but we're going to read this as a proverb speaking on the Edomites. John 3:19, and this is the condemnation, that light is coming to the world, all right? Not the world of Israel for this, you know, parable. And men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. So this is the reason why Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is trying to silence us on off these media waves and things like that, taking off this so-called what he called alternative media and alternative news, because he's actually going back to Obadiah 1:6, you know, he being sought out and searched out, you know, all his wickedness is being exposed on his ass. All right. So, you know, Salakia for, you know, marring the scripture like that, you know what I mean? But like I said, I was, you know, trying to make a parable off of that, you know, not trying to change up the scripture or doctrine. We know that this is talking about the Israelites, all right? But continuing on, where was I at? Damn, I done lost my place. So we're going to, you know, jump into some other scriptures, you know, because I wanted to start, actually I want to start in Ezekiel. Go in and touch into what, you know, briefly touching on what our damn job is supposed to be about all these things, you know, so not to panic or think that anything is going wrong, you know, oh, Esau about to cut off, or the white man cutting off the internet, he's shutting down pages and this and that, because right now on the internet and the YouTube land and the so-called truther movements and you know, all these people that bring out different, you know, items and things like that, you know, not so-called conspiracy theories, but just certain things, you know, where we get certain information from. Everybody gets panicking in their own little rights and their own little realms, you know, people that's talking about economic collapse, the housing bubbles, and all these different things. They all panicking and collapsing, or panicking in fear of some kind of collapse or different things going on. And they run around like chickens with their heads cut off. And for our people, all right, we're not supposed to get caught up in all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be rejoicing at their downfall. That's their downfall. All these things was written aforetime. And so this is what our job is to be. All right, so we're going to, this is Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that which thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak into the house of Israel." All right, let me go show you what the roll is. This is Ezekiel 2:9. It says, "And when I look, behold, a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and there was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentation, mourning, and woe." All right, basically that's the scriptures. All right. And that's basically, you know, speaking, you know, how do I say, prophetically, because that's actually talking about in our times, because for one, in this point in time, they didn't even have the whole breakdowns to everything, you know, so he was speaking into these times. That's why we getting inside the Bible now that we've always had, but we getting the breakdowns, and it's not actually love, peace, and prosperity. It's lamentation, mourning, and woe that's in this book. Ezekiel 3:1, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that which thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak it to the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll." Well, don't quite say it all the way in here, but it says, "And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. And I did eat, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness." But then what? It get bitter. You know, that's where you go into that lamentation, mourning, and woe. But the sweetness is, oh, we Israelites again, everything is, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be all right. Let me jump down to verse 17. It says, Ezekiel 3:17, it says, "Son of man, all right, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore give them word at my mouth, and give them warning from me." So in these times of so-called, not economic, but just so-called calamities that's going on in the world, and all this panic and turmoil, and whatever type of sector that you're looking in, whatever your little niche is, whether it's economics or war or whatever, whatnot, you know, just in the regular cardinal world, you know what I'm saying? You see panic and chaos everywhere. All right. But what? We were sent out You know what I'm saying? The minute the Lord will not be a part of that number, was sent out to warn the children of Israel. You know, we was given the breakdowns to all these prophecies and the ways to filter and understand all these things that's going on, you know, and to wake up the children of Israel, you know, and then also let them know about these things that's coming to pass, you know, to comfort them on this transition, you know, like, yo, we about to be up next, bro. This is just the downfall of they shit. We not about to catch this damn thing unless you a part of the 2/3, you know, but nevertheless, we also got to give them that warning, you know, if you continue on reading down, you know, that's that warning. You know, you got to tell them to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. But we're not going to go that far down. But Ezekiel 3:17 says, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. All right, so we warn you of all these things that's coming to pass. All right, this is the book of Matthew 24 verse 3. What are the things to come? All right. Matthew 24:3, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came up to him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming in the end of the world? So the end of the world is the topic at hand, all right? You know what I'm saying? It says, And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. And all these are the beginning of sorrows. Let me just read all the way down. I'm going to break all this back down. And then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and they shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall arise and deceive many. And because the iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, then the end shall come. So going back up top, you know, like I said, if you watching in this world, you know what I'm saying, you seeing, you know, not from the side of the comfort over here being comforted by these scriptures, but if you're on the other side of our people and you scrambling, that's why it's important to come back to this, because in these end times, this is all the shit that's going to be hitting you at the same time, man. All right. And also, you know, when the Lord is trying to push out these prophecies and these things, these warnings and things like that, show these signs forth through his prophets. All right. And the time, let me just read it and break it down, because all these things is the times we living in now. All right. It says, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. All these different religions, all these new trends and things like, what they call that shit, Kemet, and all that extra shit, all these new little ways and thought process and patterns and so-called religions for especially our people to get into, especially at this point in time. The truthers, flat movements, or flat earth movements, all these different philosophies and shit like that, all right? And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, see that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall... So we can talk about the wars and rumors of wars for days on end. You know, that's like one of my special favorite topics to go into. And there should be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Venezuela, that's all I got to say about famines. All right, there's about to be one here, a mass one here in America. But pestilence, you know, you got the what do you call that shit, a polio-like virus and all these other super viruses going around America right now, you know, and earthquakes in diverse places. You know, we seen these things happening week by week, day by day, hour by hour, actually. All these are the beginning of sorrow. So these are the beginning of the end times. And they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And that's where we at right now. All right, that's why they demonizing us heavy in the media right now, shutting down our stuff and taking our pages down and making us look bad into the media, so that they can do what? Deliver us up to the authorities so that we can be killed. All right, and what? We're gonna be hated of all nations, because wow, we and all nations are off rip, and by all these other nations that so-called fucking up their prosperity because we waking up, right? They need us to be still sleeping in our captivity so they can keep prospering. But if we want to wake up and so-called rebel to that so-called planet they got going on, they're going to wind up hating us for that, all right? Especially if we call them out, tell them they're going into captivity, all right? And you should be hated of all nations for my name's sake. That's what? The testimony of this here word, all right? You know, speaking on Yahushua. And then shall many... And then also, shit, those names are trembling into the heathen. You know, they don't want to hear about that coming back and then putting their ass into captivity. Verse 10, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And we see that right now in the times we live in, people being offended by all kind of different things. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying, ultimately on international scales with these other nations and stuff, they all being offended because we calling them out, telling them they're going to slavery. And many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. And as you see, there's a push for religion here in so-called America right now. All these different groups and preachers and people coming out trying to do all the so-called work or whatever, whatnot. And because the iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And you see all these knockout games and no lacking challenges and all the other bullshit they got going on, and these new fads and trends in the society just going down the hell in a handbasket, you know, down the drain quick, you know. But he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. Endure what? All these calamities and attacks that's coming at you right now, all the way up until those missiles drop and them chariots scoop your ass up. All right. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, then the end shall come. So this being the focal point of the lesson, right? This here is going to be preached into this gospel going to be preached into the whole world. All right. What is that? Trying to think of. Give me a second. Okay, hold on. That's not actually what I wanted, but that's a good precept too. Maybe it's in chapter 6. This is 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 20. All right, going back into Matthew chapter 24. All right, talking about this gospel being preached into all the world. All right, 2 Ezra chapter 6 and verse 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show the tokens. All right, these tokens, which, you know what I'm saying, is you read further on up. Let me read verse 18. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and visit them that dwell upon the earth, and will begin to make inquisition of them, would they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. And when the world shall begin to vanish away. All right, talking about the wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, famines, diverse places, and people hating you, and the love of many waxing cold, and all those different calamities, you know, all those different things, the beginning of sorrows taking place. All right, when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished. All right, when America that was supposed to be made great again, that ain't gonna be made great again at all. All right, is finished and collapse. You know, when all these different things, you know, they building and their prosperity come to a complete halt and start declining, then will I show these tokens. All right. You know, and that's the times we in right now. All right. The book shall be open before the firmament, and they shall see all together. All right. So that's this gospel being preached into the whole four corners of the earth. All right. And that ain't talking about regular Christianity, because they did that already. But that's talking about this here truth. And how do they do that? It says, and the book shall be open before the firmament, and they shall see all together. Now the books is talking about the basically, you know, the Bible, but the breakdowns and the dark sayings of the Bible, the prophecies, and all these the breakdowns, you know. So the book being open, the prophecies being opened up and shown into you, are opened up before the firmament. Now we're gonna touch on that firmament being in the sky or in space, what we call lower Earth orbit. All right, they shall see all together. Who shall see all together? All right, the elect shall see all together. Everybody gonna see all together. Everybody gonna start waking up and seeing this. You know, first and foremost through the elect. But it says the book shall be open before the firmament. This is Psalm chapter 19. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, the heavens declare the glory of Yahweh, and the firmament shows his handiworks. So even up, you know, in the heavens, you know, up there in the upper Earth's orbit, you know. Hey, man, like, yeah, you know, the Most High set up Orion and all that, those what do you call it, those zodiacs and whatever, those pictures and all those designs. But as we come further into time and everything else like that, hey, man, this is even further of a breakdown to describing basically the internet and YouTube, more or less talking about YouTube in these times. All right, like we just read, that the books was going to be open before the firmaments. All right, so the scriptures and the breakdowns was going to be open before the firmaments, and what's in the firmaments and the so-called lower Earth's orbit. All right, the space, that's where them satellites at. What's transmitting in the satellites? Basically the backbone of internet. All right, now what's on the internet? The YouTube. All right, so it says that the heavens declare the glory of the Most High, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. All right, so we talking about the internet here. It says day unto day utter a speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. So where are people going day unto day to hear this word come out, and where are they getting this knowledge at day unto day, night unto night? All right, mainly on this here YouTube, because whether we be in the privacy of our own home or wherever we do our videos at, or on the highways and the byways, we wind up uploading primarily through the medium of what? YouTube. All right, there is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard, because why? There's no boundaries where you can watch these YouTube videos at, nor is there not a language that can't be heard in, because why? They got that Google, or that translate. So this can be translated into any language. All right. You know, even though I don't speak let's say Mandarin or Arabic, you know, somebody, you know, our brother that's scattered in those lands can hit the translate button and see exactly what I'm saying. All right. So it says there's no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Their line, like America Online or Getting Online, their line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. Now, how are these words going to the end of the world? How are these videos being seen all over the world? Via the internet. Where's the internet at? Via the satellites in the space, the firmaments. These books being opened in the firmaments. All right. Their line's gone out throughout all the earth, and their words to the end of the world, and them that have set a tabernacle for the sun, which is a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. He goeth forth. His going forth is from the end of heaven, and his circuits unto the end of it. There is nothing that is hid from the heat thereof. All right, so this truth ain't gonna be covered up by nothing, because the internet is in place. Anybody can see this and find this, and it's hard to scrub the internet of this, because you don't know who's taking and re-uploading this. You don't know where this word is going at. You don't know whose ears this is all falling on, who's seen it, who haven't seen it. There's too much stuff out there to track. But precisely the internet, or the scriptures precisely talked about the internet, precisely YouTube, that this truth was going to be going out over to YouTube. All right, the most I said, warn my people. All right, are they transgressions? All right, and then all these signs at the end coming, warn my people. And how you gonna warn them? All right, you gonna warn them via what? The damn YouTube. All right, you gonna warn them via the internet. All right, that's what we was reading here. But what's gonna ultimately happen with that is, you know what I'm saying? We here to tell you things aforetime. That's what a prophet is. Prophet come and tell you things before they happen. All right. What was I grabbing? Oh yeah. This is Amos 8:11. It says, "Behold, the days cometh, saith Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst for water, but of hearing the word of you." Salakia. Damn. It says, "Behold the days," Amos 8:11. "Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst of water, but of hearing the word of Yahweh." So, as we was reading in the news article, those sites being taken down, we know that that's all in lieu of taking us out of the picture. Because why? As we was reading, I made that parable out of the saying that was spoken to the children of Israel. All right, in John 3:19, they don't want their evil deeds to be exposed. They want to keep their new world order going so they can fulfill it. All right. It says, Amos 8:11 again. "Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor of thirst, but of hearing the word of Yahweh." And this is only really profitable to the children of Israel. So just like the internet and the YouTube, how we on here telling you about these calamities that's coming and all this extra crazy shit that's popping off, and how to be saved and delivered from all of that. All right, those doors are closing. It's about to be cut off. All right, the Most High even got this plan. Not only do the so-called white man showing you that that's his plan in the news, we bringing out and telling you in the same way that, hey, look, this is going to happen. Not only is this the so-called white man plan, but ultimately it's the Most High's plan. All right, verse 12. All right, and hopefully you ain't one of these men, you know. "And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to east, and they shall run to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it." All right, and it's kind of funny how they say they shall wander from sea to sea and from north unto east, instead of saying like north and the south or east and the west. Because why? We over here in the western side, right? The truth primarily started and sprouted over here, basically in New York City. All right, but nevertheless it says, "And they shall wander from sea to sea and from north even to east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh, and shall not find it. In that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst. So you don't want to be caught out there all dehydrated and thirsty and shit like that, looking for the word of the Lord to come. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? This is all the Most High's plan. Don't let it catch you off guard as you see these things coming up on internet and how they trying to censor the internet and all these different things. And you get caught up with the so-called white man and his theories about these things. Oh, net neutrality, they trying to do this and that. Nah, they really trying to come at the prophets. All right. This is 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So we're not ignorant of his devices. We're not going to get caught up in his bullshit. You know what I'm saying? At least he can take advantage of us, you know, or do certain things. If we see he got certain steps, like how, for instance, my YouTube right now is under attack. You know, I got to go ahead and make me a backup channel or something like that. Or probably use this as a backup channel, because Homeboy done already put his shit into my channel to where it's starting to go through old ass videos, putting certain things on there to make it to where you can't really search these videos out, like age restricted and this and that, where they putting up certain like you describe a certain thing, like let's say the UN, and they'll put the title or definition of that on there, showing you that they watching your shit, you know. But nevertheless, we not ignorant of that, because why? The Most High already gave us these breakdowns in the scriptures, and we know how to relate these things to the things that's going on around us. And we can also see the things that's going on around us. We know what the signs are, so we're not gonna get taken in these things when they booting us off the internet and things like that. We're not gonna panic and worry and say it's unfair and try to riot and protest and fight the white man for it. No, we know that's ultimately the Most High's plan. All right, that's just more fuel for the elect to know that we almost up out of here. All right, to know that we about to be up out of here, not to panic and worry about nothing else like that. All right, now we're gonna actually go to this scripture that came out, you know, through the Spirit earlier. 2nd Ezra chapter 9 verse 1, it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. When thou seest part of the signs past, which I've told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right. And let me just keep reading. It says, therefore, when thou shalt see, there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, thou shalt understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. We just read about that in Matthew 24. So, I'm going to close out with this. You know, because that's what we're doing, to feed and edify the elect. All right. Just hopefully you don't get caught up on the other side when this famine of the word come into place. It says, for like as all things that is made in the world have the beginning and an end, the end is manifest. So as clear as day, we in the end. Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works, the ending in effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. And if you got faith and you believe in this, then you're going to be out here pushing this work to save and edify and build up the elect, you know, and to make your call and election sure. Shall be preserved from the said perils and shall see my salvation, according to what? Ezekiel 3:9, that mark, all right, the mark of exemption. And shall see the salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them. I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Then shall they be in a pitiful case, which have abused my ways, and they have cast them away despitefully, and shall dwell in torment. It's talking about 2/3 of our people. Even though they was Israelites, you know what I'm saying, they was going to inherit the kingdom, they decided to keep going off and doing whatever they wanted to do. You know, even though that's a lot to be set up into that, but nevertheless, for such in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Why? Because they received the benefits of this world from the so-called white man Esau, Edom, not the benefits and the blessings of the Most High. Verse 11, and they that have loathed my laws while they have yet liberty, and when yet place of repentance was open unto them, they understood not, but despised it. That's the time we in now. You laughing and scoffing and ignoring us, the minute the Lord is out here preaching his word to our brethren, and you just keep walking on by, you despise it. All right, so how you got to learn and figure this here thing out, that you're an Israelite and the Lord came to save you? The same must know it after death by pain. So you're going to have to die first, all right, and go through an excruciating death, all right? It says, and therefore be not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, but but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created. All right. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, Just take heed to how you can get saved. All right, take heed to how you can figure out what's going on and how you can do your work. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, the signs are showing you is that. Let me go back up one more verse. It says, verse 5. 2 Ezra 2:5. For like all that is made in the world have the beginning and the end is manifest. So that the end is clear as day, man. The signs is clear as day. So it's time to go ahead and make that move before Esau make his final move and close these doors of repentance and hey, just unleash Jacob's trouble, and then that's just gonna be it. That's how close we are to the end. But with that, we're gonna go ahead and close out. Lord, when it said lesson was edifying to the elect. Until next time, I say call halal Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Stay strong. Shalom.